today at Miami Community Newspapers. I'm with Mark Trowbridge, Coral Gables Chamber. Name this song. Can you name it, Mark?
Oh, I can name it, Grant, and it's in honor of what? Our big move this week. The Chamber is moving out to 201 Alhambra Circle. We'll talk more about that, but thanks for a little Billy Joel. It gets the blood pumping.
I'm sure it does. It's exciting. So let's talk about Labor Day. What
Yes.
happened Labor Day 2020? I know you worked.
I did. I worked. I was doing some packing. I've been very lucky that my really good friend Denise Minikowski has been helping me pack, but the last thing I had to do was my desk and go through a lot of papers and old forms. The best thing is I found a 40th birthday card that was from 12 years ago from a friend, and inside it was a spa gift certificate to the Mandarin Oriental.
Is it still good?
I don't know. Do you think they'll accept it 12 years later?
I think so.
I think so. I think the Mandarin will be like, sir, come on in. There's nobody that needs a spa treatment more than you.
You're 52 years old now?
I am 52 now. I know I don't look it because I have sort of, a baby face. But as
like
they
a
say,
polar bear. You look like a polar bear, just nice and
I'm
young.
not gray enough. I'm just a regular bear. But what I would say is, fat doesn't crack, honey. So I'm very fortunate to
that's
have,
a new saying.
It doesn't crack. So I feel good, and the big move is on Thursday. I can't believe it. So, folks, if you're looking for us on Thursday in your #1 Coral Gables Chamber of Commerce, send us an email or reach out on a cell phone. We'll be moving out on Thursday.
You said #1. Let's clarify. You're #1 in South Florida, ranked by the South Florida
Business
Journal.
We are. South Florida Business Journal back in the spring does their annual rankings. They do it for all types of industries, but they also do chamber nonprofits. And we were #2 last year, #4 the year before, and this year very blessed to be the #1 chamber. So we're going to take that out and ride it like a horse.
Did you do a watch party in your Facebook?
No, I'm not good at that.
Okay, well,
I know that Michael asks me to do that every week, and by the next week when I have my mind a little more freed, I'm going to do that.
When it's wrapped around it. It's exciting about moving. Do you throw your old papers away? Do you put them in a box? What do you do with the old junk?
So it's a combination. So Denise would tell you we had like 4 boxes going of stuff. So in books and tchotchkes and things like that. So stuff going to the new office, stuff going home, stuff that's being donated, and then obviously stuff that's being thrown away. Actually, there was a 5th box, but I don't want to tell people because this might be what comes up over the holidays. The re-gift box. Because I got things that
you must get a lot of those.
People are very, very
generous.
Look at that.
So Linda Fernandez, she must love you, a fan.
Linda's amazing from our Realtor Association, a great partner. We actually did an event back in July together on the state of the commercial industry, and Linda is always amazing. Her leadership, her folks, Paul and everybody there, Teresa, of course. But Linda is our contact, and we couldn't be more proud to work with her.
Company?
And the Miami Association. It's the largest association in the world, and they also have an incredibly active commercial real estate division that we work with at least once a year.
Okay, so let's talk about – give me a chamber update. Let's get a camera just on Mark. Oh, look at that. Just on him. Look at that.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, baby.
I put on this beautiful jacket that kind of makes me look a little bit more polished, but I've been crawling around today. You asked me about packing, so the last thing was doing my desk, going through papers. That's when I found that gift certificate from 12 years ago. But, we all keep stuff, right? Like old pay stubs and, notes that people send you. I only get 1 or 2 of those. You know who is the most prolific note writer that when you get an award or honor or congratulations, do you know who that is? I think in Miami, it's Al Dotson Jr. I found 3 different notes. As a matter of fact, the third one, if I read it in order, said, "This is becoming a habit, but congratulations again." In his own hand, on his own stationery. Now, that is a classy guy. And you know what? We've lost a little bit of that art of writing personal notes and letters. So, folks, if that's one thing that maybe you can pick up during COVID, write folks notes. People love to see a personal thank you. Emails are nice. Emails are lovely. But a true opportunity to take out a note card, a piece of stationery, and just say, hey, thanks for doing a great job. People really remember that. Look, I saved them.
Al Dotson's father.
Yes.
Family just donated money to FIU to have something named after them.
Super generous.
Al Dotson graduated, I think, in '77 from Palmetto. You know whose team he was on basketball? Ron McGill.
Oh, you're kidding! How funny!
And then this guy named.
Those are like the Twin Towers. Those two, right? They're pretty tall.
And Tom
fellas.
Foley played basketball with him.
Okay.
And Larry Crawford. That was 4 out of the 5. Larry Crawford.
And how did they do? I mean, they must.
They were outstanding. Larry Crawford was inducted to the Hall of Fame in Canada for football, but he was a great basketball player. And his son plays shortstop I don't know what team. He's Phillies or was.
Okay.
But Foley, here's a great sports story. Foley played football, baseball, basketball.
Triple threat.
He threw lefty and righty as quarterback. His football coach said to him after the season, give up baseball. Football is your sport.
And?
That was 18. Now he is 60 years old. Guess what? Still in baseball.
Still in baseball.
Luckily, he didn't listen to his coach. He got drafted, played for the Expos, played for the Reds. He's the third base coach for the Devil Rays or the Rays.
Yeah.
So that was great basketball. And Ron McGill,
I grew up a Reds fan because being from Toledo, Ohio, if you wanted to follow the National League, that was your team. And that was my dad's team. And that, of course, was the Big Red Machine. Best infield ever in the history of baseball.
Yeah, well, name them. Starting with a catcher. Let's go around the infield.
Johnny Bench.
Bam!
First base, Dave Concepcion.
Who? Where?
David Concepcion? No?
No,
So I know you had, in the infield, you had the duo there of Morgan and who was at shortstop? Don't tell me, because I get them confused with the Tigers, which was the team I followed. Because, my
Tommy,
dad.
when you get a chance, can
You
you
had
find
Pete Rose over on third, but then he also played at first.
Yes, he did in his older age.
In his more senior time, when he was a coach, manager, and player. Remember, he did both.
Yeah, and then they said he gambled a little.
No, I don't believe it.
He's the only one who got caught.
Belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
I'm saying that here. I know we'll get hate emails and texts and Facebook messages, but he belongs in the Hall of Fame. And, that was about to happen when I think Bart Giamatti had been the commissioner, and that the steroid issue broke, and that took all of the oxygen out of the room. And they were going to bring in Shoeless Joe at the same time.
There's the roster. Do we have a roster for us? Not yet? Okay. What we need a roster.
Don't just give me a hint, because my dad would be rolling over that I couldn't do the infield.
Well,
But Pete was over on third. Johnny was behind the plate.
We don't have it, but that's okay. There it is, right there.
David Concepcion, no?
Yeah. Pete
Joe Morgan.
There
we got that. I had
Morgan.
that at second. But then who was at first when Petey was on third?
Concepcion.
David Concepcion was the short.
Tony Perez.
Tony Perez.
Yeah, so you were. Yeah. I could tell you're a big.
Now there
fan.
was another great. There was another.
And who's the manager? Who's the manager?
Well, you had Sparky Anderson.
Very good. There it is.
Yeah, I can't see that far, but Sparky went to then become the manager of the Tigers, and then won a World Series in 1984 with the Tigers. And my favorite two guys there were Sweet Lou Piniella and Alan Trammell. Alan Trammell. They were shortstop and second base. They were the most prolific in terms of turning double plays and working together. They were incredible.
Wow. This guy knows.
That was my team, but they were American League. And when they won the title in 84, we had just moved to Florida, but I was still following them. I was becoming a Braves fan because there were no teams in Florida. And, of course, the Braves were on TV every day with TBS. My dad was just just embarrassed that I would not continue to follow his Reds, but they weren't doing as well in the 80s. No. And then, Sparky took them and they beat the Padres, I think, in 5 games. They were incredible that year.
Speak about sports. I read somewhere that there's maybe another NFL team coming to Florida.
And an expansion opportunity?
Yes.
I mean, I know that this commissioner has been looking at Europe. They've played in Europe for a number of years. Our past chairman, Nelson Lazo, used to go on that trip. I'd be super jealous. But, Baptist Health and, of course, Doctors Hospital, huge supporters of the Dolphins and their health care provider.
Orlando's the most likely spot.
Orlando. So they've had some stops and starts with Arena, and I think Spurrier had that league that was the All-Star League that kind of didn't last a whole season. But, Orlando is unbelievably, great center of our state. Lots of folks moving in there. 1,000 people move to Florida every day, even in a pandemic. And they don't all come to South Florida. A lot go to Orlando.
Would be great because there's Disney World, and people love going to trips, going to a sporting event. If you got kids, how great we go to Disney University Studios.
I will tell you, every time that I travel, I try to go, and usually baseball is the easiest to connect to because of the markets where they are. And there's just, 162 games in the regular season. So, I've been to some fun places. One of my favorites is the Cincinnati Reds ballpark, the Great American Ballpark. I've been to the Nationals ballpark, which is amazing down there in the Navy Yards.
Which one?
The Nationals. They're the current World Series champions.
I'm going to tell you a story.
All right, I love stories.
When my son was in 8th grade for his graduation, I took him and his best friend, flew to Washington.
Yeah.
Had
Good civics lesson.
Went to the national game
Yep.
at 1:00 for dinner. We had dinner with Ross Layton.
Very nice.
Then
Where'd you guys eat?
some.
Please tell me that you and Ileana and the kids went to Old Ebbitt Grill. That's my favorite.
I don't know
That's
where she
Old Washington. It's like Sardi's is to Broadway. Old Ebbitt
I don't
is
know where.
to.
And then we took the train the next
DC.
day to a Boston game.
Yep. So you went up. You went to Fenway.
And then this is in 3 days.
Yeah.
Then the next day we took the train, went to a Yankee game, and flew out.
Amazing.
Three
Was that
days, 3
was
days.
that old Yankee Stadium?
The new one.
The new one. Okay.
Disappointing.
That's all right. Old Yankee Stadium. I've never been to the
I've
new
been-
one, but I went to Old Yankee Stadium. The cool thing was if you went early enough, they had the incredible sort of statuary area. You could go see all the statues to the greats. That always closes right before the
you been to
before the
Baltimore?
first. Where?
You been to Baltimore's?
I've
Camden
not been
Yards?
to Camden.
Well, the outfield, you walk around, and wherever people hit home runs,
It's the water, right?
not Cameron's. And there's cement blocks like Boot Powell home run or this home
Oh,
run
wow.
in the ground. So there you are walking around and have restaurants everywhere. You been to White Sox?
In Chicago? No, but I've
Best
been
sausages in
to.
town.
I've been to where the Cubs play at Wrigley. So I won an auction.
Here?
Down here, Branches, a great local nonprofit, great member of ours, had an event called I think it's
Branches.
blue jeans, and it's like black tie and blue jeans. So you wear the top part as your tux, and then you wear jeans at the bottom. By the way, FYI, if you rent your tux, you can't just rent the jacket. You got to take the whole thing.
Okay.
We go there. Our great friend Isabel Pike, she puts together the auction.
She's
so
great.
one of the items, she's great. One of the items is a trip, a day game at Wrigley Field, and included the hotel, which was at a bed and breakfast. So it was donated by the owner of the bed and breakfast. So the only thing you had to basically do was pay for your flight and lunch and dinner. So it was 4 tickets, and then after the game, you get to go down on the field and have your picture taken.
How'd they arranged the whole thing?
They arranged the whole thing. So I get there. I have 2 great friends that live in Chicago. So Andrew and his boyfriend joined us, along with a friend of mine. We had a great game. It rained a little bit.
Who was the manager then? Jim Henry?
Who would have? Gosh, this would have been 5 years ago, probably.
Well, Jim.
I think it was Joe Madden. Maybe
No, that was that coach. I mean, the general manager.
the general manager was the guy I think from the Red Sox,
Oh, different guy.
Epstein,
Okay.
and he won titles in both places. Remember?
Yeah. Well, speak about the Nationals, as you know,
Yeah.
the starting catcher, he started half the games. You knew this. I'm going to
Okay,
tell
I
this
hope
to the
so.
people. Is the only Brazilian baseball player, Jan Gomes.
He's the only Brazilian playing right now?
Yep.
That seems incredible to me,
Wait.
given the influx of Latin
Brazilian.
Americans, but Brazilian.
And
okay.
he went to Palmetto as a freshman, then transferred to Southridge, went to
Now, how's he built? Is he like a trunk? Because catchers are just thick, and
in youth sports, he was a better quarterback
Okay.
than baseball player. And then he played on the Cleveland Indians that almost got to the World Series. But you knew that. I knew you were.
I know. So was not an Indians fan growing up because I was a Detroit fan, and Detroit was closer to Toledo. It was less than an hour than Cleveland, which was a little more than 2 hours. So.
Yeah, but
And they were not great. You know who they're perennial? They always got that one pick for the All-Star team.
Right.
Because, as you might imagine, they didn't have any other All-Stars. But every team gets one, and it was always Ray Hargraves. And then he went on to be their manager for many years.
Right. All right.
So-
Listen, now that we know that, college football, you
I love
excited?
sports. I'm very excited. I was with a young man over the weekend named Paul Menendez. He has a YouTube channel that is all things University of Miami and Canes. So we had a few clashes because, of course, I'm close friends with his parents. His mother, Alina's on our board, and so they were kind enough to invite me over for dinner. And we talked a lot about what's going on. And we had a really long conversation really about Manny Diaz and what kind of coach and leader he is. And I said, I hope, like what happens in a lot of very high-profile Division I programs, that he gets time to build because he's a real fundamental guy. When I interviewed him last year for our Tro Knows,
And it was great.
it was very clear to me that he was building something. So it's kind of like what has happened with Derek Jeter and the Marlins. We had to have faith that they were investing in young guys and building. And it's hard at Miami because a lot of guys, they leave early because they're on the fast track to a major pro career. There are Miami Hurricane players all throughout the NFL, and you see that talent. And a lot of those young men are like ready to make that jump. Plus, they also want to, be able to provide for their families. So I understand that. But it's hard to not know what that runway looks like and build a team around. So
speaking about Manny Diaz, last year he brought this offensive coordinator in from Alabama.
Yes.
And that was the tough part.
Folks were frustrated very early because everybody wants you to air out the ball.
Right. And then top it all, in Alabama, don't get me wrong, has talent, but Alabama has a lot of talent.
Sure.
You could run anything.
Well, and in year one, you're changing a system.
So he came in, changed the system, and he's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's from Michigan State.
Was that Rhett?
No, I forgot his name, but he graduated Michigan State,
Right.
Played there, coached there. But Manny Diaz, this is his year because he has the #1 recruiting for next year. He better win. If he doesn't win, these recruits aren't
And
staying.
he's got a transfer quarterback who will be the starting quarterback, De'Eric King.
And Thursday
And a new offensive coordinator who is more aligned with the offense and the talent that they have.
This team they're playing.
They're playing UAB. By the way, folks, not a joke team, not a cupcake.
Serious.
UAB in University of Alabama, Birmingham. Amazingly good team. I will tell you, the Gators have played them a number of years to open the season.
This coach is good, too.
And it's scary because it's a tight game. It's not like playing Wyoming or, Montana.
Or underwater bath.
Or Georgia Southern used to be my favorite team. But then they had to stop doing that because of the way the teams look at your portfolio now, or the college football playoff teams. You can't have any cupcakes.
Thursday night?
Thursday night is the 10th. I
going?
think it's awesome. It's 9-10.
Are you going?
I am not going.
Why not?
I know that students are not able to go to the first two games.
No, they are allowed to go. They just can't get free tickets to the student section.
Oh, so they buy them. So I know that their ticket manager is a member of our chamber, and she said, that was allowing her actually to sell some additional seats, which they need because I think it's 13 or 14,000.
And I think they're going to struggle to get that on Thursday night.
Thursday night's tough. I think people are still a little bit nervous. I mean, listen, our restaurants opened last Monday. It's been a slow slog. I've talked to a lot of the
restaurants. It's slower because school started before kids. It's changed. But the students are allowed to buy tickets. There's no
I
student.
didn't realize that. I guess because if they purchase them,
how
no
can
free
they?
tickets.
How can they refuse somebody?
Well, I shouldn't say free because they pay a huge athletic fee, but no, their vouchers that they normally get.
So the students could buy tickets elsewhere.
No, it's not a bad thing because the university's been very transparent about any of their cases. They have a dashboard that anybody can access. Dr. Frank has been incredibly accessible and available talking about any of their struggles, but they certainly have some students who are infected and some who are affected, and they're taking very good care of them, which, we have to applaud because there are some schools that very quickly say, you know what, we're done, you're going back home.
Well, how about Alabama say don't say anything? That was in national news when the administrator said do not talk about it. It was
so much for transparency.
Wait. Hold on. Yesterday was your best friend's birthday, wasn't it?
The 5th. Sarah Nesbitt Artacona, happy birthday. Her birthday was
Can we
on
get a happy birthday song?
Her birthday was on Saturday the 5th. I don't think she would be upset for me to tell you that on the 5th she turned 55, and so she looks amazing. We went to dinner. We sat outside, and I will tell you the only way that I've been able to maintain my weight besides my Peloton is that eating outside ruins my appetite. So it's just hot.
It's hot. It's brutal.
Today is your birthday. Well, actually, it's Saturday. I hope she's listening.
Sarah,
we
happy
love
birthday.
Sarah. I'm actually going to breakfast with her tomorrow, so we have a little one-on-one time.
Oh,
she doesn't know this, but I have a really funky gift for her, an Alabama gift that I did not give her on Saturday when we got together. But we had a great time. We went to Salumeria 104, one of our great.
Where is that located?
That is located right on Miracle Mile in the 100 block on the north side. Great Italian fare, and I had the special that night. I had the salmon with asparagus. So everybody else had pasta, and I was incredibly jealous. But I'm taking stock of wanting everything to fit me when it's time to wear a suit again.
Well,
right now I'm wearing pajama pants to work and no underwear.
Problem is COVID. The COVID is 19, meaning it's like freshman 15. COVID-19.
I've called some people out when I see them on Zoom, and I can tell they're eating their feelings, but I'm no one to talk, so I'm just being that guy. So
okay.
To you. This is for Sarah Nesbitt Artacona. Day to you. Happy birthday, dear Sarah. Happy birthday to you. We love you, Sarah. Oh, I'm going to wear the hat.
There's your hat.
All right, I'm going to wear this the rest of the show. By the way, I'm writing an article that I hope that you will run because you're always super generous and find me a front page spot in Miami's community newspapers.
There's happy birthday. Pull it down.
Oh, pull it
There's
down.
a happy birthday sign on
I feel like Minnie Pearl.
Minnie Pearl.
I just need a price tag. This is something Minnie Pearl would wear. So can I just
Sarah,
say
happy
this?
birthday.
I'm writing an article, and it's called Virgos for the Win. I have about 5 or 6 women who are incredibly close in my life, who are all friends, not family, but close friends who are family. 4 of them are Virgos. So
You're going to write a piece.
I'm writing a piece already about it because I didn't know a lot about Virgos. And so I did a little research yesterday when I was at the office and needed a break from throwing away check stubs from 2006.
Why do you save them?
I don't know, because I have hoarding tendencies. I mean,
With that hat, you sure look like
it.
it.
So judgy. It's a struggle.
Okay, let's chamber update. Let's
Happy
talk about the
birthday,
next
Sarah.
2 weeks. We got
So
Park
the
Club.
next 2 weeks are pretty big. We are continuing the first round of committee meetings. So, in September, it's our new chamber year. New chair, new goals, new lease on, what's next. Our theme this year has come together. So we're really using that to drive what the committees are doing. So last week we had 5 different committees meet. This week we're going to have 2 more meet. Government and Business Affairs is tomorrow morning at 8. And then our membership committee. And so I'm working with each of those committees and their new chairs to really set their goals, to look at things that are not only realistic, but stretch us into 2021. We're also going to be committed to what I had shared with you the last couple weeks, to build goals around diversity and inclusion. So you'll hear more about that.
Play it. Hold on.
And then
Here's your
this
song.
week,
Ready? Play it.
this has come together. This is the Beatles. I understand that there's a Michael Jackson version and an Aerosmith version, which is pretty darn cool.
Can you sing it?
I'm not as strong.
All right, we got it.
great with
Okay,
that. I can
come
kinda hum it.
together.
And then this next Friday, or this Friday coming up, the 11th, we're going to have our book club. So we're doing that every month. The last month we had Brian Norcross and Eric J. Dolan. This week we're going to have an author who wrote a book called The Socrates Express. He's a best-selling, prize-winning author named Eric Weiner. And it really talks about philosophers and the places they traveled throughout history. And so it's a fun kind of travel book. It's a little bit of a reminder who some of those great, so it's called the Socrates Express. That's at noon. It's free and open to the public, members, non-members. You can sign up through us, through Books, and definitely go and see the team at Books and pick up your own copy. Eric Weiner, the Socrates Express, this Friday, 12 noon. And then next week's always a busy week. It's the heart of our calendar. On Tuesday, we have Althea Harris, up close and personal from the SBA, talking to us about what the SBA is doing. Don't forget that besides all the work they did with PPP and EIDL, they're still doing the great work in terms of loans and small business help. And it's with our women's lunch, and it's a focus on becoming a woman-owned certified business. Opportunities then for things like government contracting. Government's open, folks. They're spending money, folks. It's a great time to work on your business while you're kind of re-ramping up your business. We have an impact seminar around energy leadership, helping you prepare for the last quarter of 2020. That's with Kevin Hunting, and he is a local business coach that we know and is a member of ours. And then Thursday's the big one, my friend. The mayor of Coral Gables, Raul Valdez-Fowley, will be speaking to us about the state of the city beautiful. It's his farewell address to the chamber.
8 more months. 8 more months.
He's got about 8 months. He'll be leaving us in April of 2021, but it's his last breakfast speech, and so we're looking forward to that. I've been working with his team on that, and that's really what's coming up the next this week and next week, and we're thrilled. We're continuing to engage with our members. Friday the 18th will be a Chamber Engagement 101 for new members, as well as members that might want a little brush up that have been somewhat disconnected, maybe for the summer, maybe for COVID, or both.
Last week was week 1 of the indoor-outdoor restaurants. Yeah. First of all, I met with the mayor. I went and called him up, went to his office, and thanked him for what he did.
Yes.
Him and the city manager, what they did for the restaurants. And it, even though it's restaurants is only part of their businesses. Everybody surrounds restaurants. So what they did is open it up for everybody in Coral Gables. So I told him, congratulations, he did a great job.
Restaurants are the great convener, and it isn't just over a meal. It could be over a cup of coffee. It could be a meeting that, is very important. People tend to do business with people they know, they like, and a lot of that begins and ends with the opportunity to break bread together. So I'm a huge fan of our restaurant community. We have the best restaurant community in all of South Florida. I am bullish on that. It's taken a hard hit, and many of them have been able to sustain through other types of means, either through their delivery or takeout. Others have done things like a Nick Sharp, created a commissary, and even others have found ways to partner together so that you could buy, a package and then have lunch here and then have dinner here or have breakfast here. And
some of them are remodeling. They remodel now.
Yeah, listen, this was the time. Listen, the Chamber did that. We're moving. We've built a completely new space. We've upgraded and refreshed our website. That'll debut also at the breakfast on the 17th. And probably the biggest thing is just, stayed very close and engaged with our members.
More than ever.
If you've put in new carpet, a fresh coat of paint, maybe you did like we did and you did a little refresh on your brand, this was the time. Maybe you elevated your e-commerce opportunities. That's what Althea is going to talk about also on the 15th is keep working on your business. Take time to go through these certification programs. If you're not as busy right now, fill that time with meaningful opportunities that will ultimately help your business thrive.
Curfews, ballrooms, banquets, it's all connected.
It is all connected. So, you mentioned the mayor and our city manager, and I appreciate you thanking Mayor Valdez-Fowley and City Manager Iglesias, but this is going to be a big day or tomorrow because my last conversation with the county mayor, Mayor Carlos Jimenez, last Sunday, so a little more than a week ago, was that he would readdress the issue of the curfew. We have advocated the curfew being pushed back till midnight. He may come back and say, let's go to 11. Anything helps because when I went out to dinner on Saturday at Salumeria, we sat outside, but by 9:15, we were the last table. Because they're not seating anybody after about 8:30, 8:45 because they got to get them fed and then folks got to get home. So that's tough. And then, the hotels are chomping at the bit to be able to open their ballrooms and, even at 50%, maybe host some smaller events, whether that's a wedding. Something like more than 2 million weddings were postponed in this pandemic.
Are you asking me to marry you?
It's not a marriage of convenience, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. It's legit. The love here is deep and abiding. And we can get married now. I think you're technically single, right?
Yeah, I'm single. So,
and I'm single as a Pringle, baby.
George Gonzalez, is Geraldo Knights ever going to come back?
So that's a great question, George. Always appreciate you tuning in and being here with us. We do believe in 2021 that we will see Geraldo Under the Stars, I think is the program you're talking about, First Friday. That's put on by our partners at the bid, and I've had some conversations with Aurelia Reinhardt, their executive director. And, it really is about two things, the ability to gather in larger groups. So that's phase 3, phase 4, and the ability for us to not see a spike here over Labor Day. We won't know for the next 2 to 3 weeks. We saw it after Memorial Day. We saw it after 4th of July. I think people have been more diligent in their mask wearing and not having large gatherings. I'm walking that talk too. We have to be careful with the chamber, so we've made a commitment to stay virtual with all of our committees through the end of 2020. And then right now, all of our events are planned to be with the understanding that we could maybe do a hybrid if we get to a certain point in November, December. But usually, George, Geraldo Under the Stars would start in November with a kickoff. I don't see that happening. It may be a January opportunity. Let's keep our fingers crossed for no spike, that we continue to see the percentage of positive cases going down. We really need to be under that 5% consistently and, not see any spikes. We're seeing those sometimes because a Quest dumps in, 8,000 tests from April, and that materially is confusing, and it affects those numbers. But, when we had been for several months in the 8, 9, 10 plus thousand cases, we've seen a nice improvement there. And it takes all of us, I'm imploring you.
CNN and Fox has stated that Florida's doing very well. By the way, Robert Beams, he's watching. What company is he with?
Robert Beans is with Bay Plumbing. Let me tell you something about Robert Beans. There's nobody that cares more about this community. He's a great chamber supporter. He worked very closely with his father in that company, and I know his father, who passed a few years ago, incredibly close. And Robert is, my toilet invariably breaks on a Sunday. I don't know how it knows, but Robert is there. He's got a great team with him.
They come on Sundays. They don't charge you two
They
times?
will come on Sunday because they understand the need
For you.
for everybody's toilet to flush.
And then we also have one of your board members, Amy Donner's watching.
Sure. I just chatted with Amy sort of on base camp. She's an active part of our membership committee, and she said that she really liked the agenda. So I want to say a special thank you to her for reading it, noticing it. I am taking a much more active role for the next 4 months in our membership recruitment and retention, and so worked with our team and our new chair, Rosella Papali, to put that together so that the folks who come to the table, that's a meaningful time that they're working on both the chamber's behalf. But what a great way as a person like Amy, who's an extraordinary salesperson, to make new connections, new clients. We learn about new businesses. Those are incredibly important. So thank you, Amy.
And then we have my favorite Italian restaurant, who used to be on Ponce.
Yes.
Used to be on
Anna
Miracle
Capri.
Ponce.
You don't even have to tell me.
Yeah, he says his
Giuseppe?
Giuseppe says he loves you.
Listen, the only person that I would probably leave you for is Giuseppe. And here's the reason. I'll say it in 3 words. Tiramisu. No, Anna Capri's awesome. I loved working with Giuseppe. We used to do an event there, our Reconnect, when he was there in the corner of Ponce, and we would use the upstairs space. There's nobody that loves the community more, opens his doors more, and I got to tell you, it was an absolute favorite. We really miss them not being so close. But your lunches, when they come back, I hope they'll still be there.
Yeah, absolutely. We got
we can go there because there's nothing more delicious. He does a penne like in a vodka sauce that I would bathe in. Forget the soap and water. Vodka sauce.
We got Courtney Larkin. We got David Sauce. We got David Arbetter. Mario, Sarah's husband.
We love Mario. Mario was the architect of Sarah's big birthday dinner. I hope he can see me wearing the hat in her honor, along with all of my Virgos. But Mario does a great job. He's the CEO of Habitat for Humanity here in Miami. What an incredibly important organization. His leadership has elevated that nonprofit in our community. And let me tell you, they do incredible things. And even in this time of COVID, think of all of the folks who have gained the opportunity for home ownership because of Habitat for Humanity. And nobody takes that to heart more than Mario and his leadership. By the way, I think they're having an auction. I think it runs through today. You can go online, which is raising money because they couldn't do one of their big events in person, which was oh, goodness. Hard hats and high heels, I think.
Which one do you wear?
I wear both.
Okay, we got quick.
Go online. Just go to Habitat of Humanity in Miami. It's probably a .org. Check it out. There's awesome hotel stays and restaurants and things like that, many of them in the Gables and Miami Beach.
We got a few things to review. We got green business certification.
Yeah, so I just wanted to mention this, and I know that Miami Community Newspapers is going to do an article on this. But about 18 months ago, the Chamber and the city came together and put together a green business certification program, meaning you and your employees legitimately have a path and a sustainable plan. So it's not just recycling, but maybe people come via bike. Maybe you installed showers so they don't have to use a car. Maybe you buy them Metro passes. Lots of different ways. And we just had a new company yesterday get certified officially called Love It. They're our 6th company in the last 18 months to get the certification, and that's called the Silver certification. So congratulations, Raphael, and your team. And then he'll get recognized along with his company, Love It, which is an online app. And they're coming in on Friday, so that's awesome. But I'm giving you a hot tip. Ask him to ask about the green certification. Super proud that our chamber continues to partner. You know that we have a pretty significant master plan and sustainability. It started with Jim Kaysen and Vince Lago, and it has continued under this entire commission, and they have been incredible. They're actually working on a big project that'll be known as a mobility hub, not just a parking garage. The leadership of the commission, the city manager, that is out right now for RFP, and it'll be a best practice not only for Coral Gables in South Florida, but a hub for probably the best you'll see in all the Southeast United States.
We got a few more things. We got a little city business, sister cities. You got to talk about the gems. And at the end, we're coming together again, and we're going to sing the song.
Come together.
Right,
so what I would say is twofold.
Please.
The city had a commission meeting today, and so, government continues to function. They're not just focused on the pandemic, but continuing to approve projects. You know, today was a great conversation about a couple projects that are coming in. There are some projects that are nearing completion. If you haven't been to the Thesis Hotel or checked out Mame by Niven Patel, go do that. Soon the apartment building will come online. Gables Plaza, right across from our old building, coming out of the ground and going inside to do dry work. And then you've got other types of projects that are being contemplated, including what I mentioned in terms of that mobility hub. The public safety building, which is 1 block behind our new offices on Alhambra, going to be online very, very soon. And so these are things that continue to happen, opportunities for even businesses like ours and small businesses who are our members to get work and working with them. Those certifications, incredibly important. But most importantly, really proud that the city continues to pay very close attention to how our recovery is going to happen. So thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, and each of our 3 commissioners, along with our manager. So Peter spoke at our conference a couple of weeks ago and gave a really great update. So if you want to check that out, go on our YouTube channel at Gables Communications. It runs about 10 hours, so go to the 11 a.m., 11:30 a.m. time block.
That's great about YouTube. This virus has caused a lot of people to do a lot of different things.
True.
And I think your communication has got even better than ever.
Well, you know, at the end of the day, there's only so many things that you can do to bring people together physically. So we've been away from that for 5+ months. So how do you engage them? How do you put them in a 2-dimensional opportunity, but also making it just as meaningful? So that's where we are today. We're making plans for January. If that doesn't work, then March. We're very hopeful, though, that because I think people they're struggling. I was doing our walkthrough today at our new space, and the architect put his hand out to shake it. And immediately I shook his hand because, you know, that's a natural sort of muscle memory action. And then I said, I hope you don't mind, but I'll be immediately using hand sanitizer. So we both did. But I think people are hungry for that connection. Being socially distant is really physically distant, but we can still be social on Zoom. But come to the programs, folks. Even if you're not a member, check us out. We're a resource for every business. There are more than 8,000 in Coral Gables. Not all of them are our members, but all of them are of concern to us because the better you do, the better Coral Gables, South Florida, and the state of Florida does.
Sister cities?
So I just want to mention very quickly that, you know, we do a program called Flags on Ponce. We've been doing that for 24 years. We work closely with the city, especially the mayor and our Sister Cities Committee, and that runs through our Global Affairs Committee run by Deirdre Nero. And it's that time of year again where we celebrate all of the consular offices, the trade offices, and the international, multinational businesses that call Coral Gables home. So stay tuned to hear more about our flags program. That goes up every year. In December, you can actually sponsor a flag. A lot of our members do that because it's a way to pay homage to their heritage. But I heard today that the city of Venice in Italy is reaching out to be a sister city. And again, a lot of that is around cities and countries that you have relationships with, you then work closely with. You don't end up having political situations with. So stay tuned more for that. We've got 7 or 8 other sister cities that also have great business hubs. And back in the day when we traveled, we went last fall with Mayor Valdez-Fowley to San Isidro, our last newest city, a sister city, which is an international program of friendship and collaboration, but was started by President Eisenhower. That's how long it's been around.
I have to interrupt you. The sister cities, why can't it be Toledo, Ohio?
Well, we typically look internationally, but I'll tell you a true story.
You go to Toledo, you're in another world.
But Toledo, that's very true. Toledo's sister city is Toledo, Spain. So there are connective tissue there that goes way back.
Just make
Remember,
it clear.
this was done by President Eisenhower. He was president 51 to 59. Sorry, I'm wrong about that. 53 to 61, and then President Kennedy.
That's when the law changed to be only 2 terms?
No, well, that's a good question. It was certainly maybe in the time of Truman.
I don't know. Okay,
Remember,
next thing.
Mr. Truman finished almost all of FDR's term because FDR died early in 45, and then he ran and won in his own right, beat Thomas Dewey, famous newspaper that said Dewey wins. Truman ends up winning. I think we could have a similar situation here in November.
Oh, I agree.
And we may not know the first week of November like we typically do.
Okay, Jims. You know, one thing you Chamber does, it doesn't concentrate on just the top, it concentrates the bottom up. But we haven't talked about the top yet. Let's talk about the gems.
So, and I appreciate you acknowledging that because I want all of our members to realize that no matter what your investment is, you're important to us. You drive what we're doing, the restaurants, the retailers, the small businesses, the micro businesses, our corporate members, and of course, our trustees. So for a long time, the trustees really were the top investor. We had 160, 170 companies. We've now added to that what's called the George E. Merrick, or the GEM level investors. So they're investing not only as a member, but investing in the chamber in the big picture, not only our programs, but in what our long-term goals are. And so they get some sponsor credit out of that. They get some greater level of engagement. But so many of them are the companies that you know and trust. And so, we have 20 of those, but I think I'll mention a couple of those today. I'll mention Dr. Michael Foreman. Dr. Foreman was actually an immediate investor when he came to this, has a concierge medicine. He's a doctor of osteopathy and Chinese medicine. But if you're a person that wants that personal touch, you want to be healthier, he'll work with you. Talk about individual curation. A lot of our members go to him, and they've really helped them feel better, look better, and just be more healthy. And he tries to get you out of taking medicine, but using a combination of your diet and your body's natural metabolism and your body's natural ingredients, if you will, to be healthier. And so we're very blessed to have his involvement. And then, I've mentioned this a couple times, but Eric Gros Dubois, a great member of our executive committee, but also did some trademark work for us when we wanted to trademark the word Burgerlicious. We had somebody try to take that from us in Chicago, and he fought for us, and we got that trademark. So great attorney, business attorney, and like I said, we're very blessed.
Okay, can we play our song? Now we're closing out. This is our song, Come Together. And Coral Gables Chamber is no question is pulling everybody together. In this crisis, I think Coral Gables Chamber has never been better, and it's moving forward, leaning forward. So, Mark, I want you to close this out today. Hold on, you know the song, right?
I'm better on the chorus. If Mario Artacona is still on, he is the biggest Beatles fan, and I bet you he is singing along. He might even be playing his guitar for his lovely.
Sure. All right, close this out, Mark.
Come together.
Close this out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in and being a part of this great show. We come to you live every single Tuesday at 3 p.m. My partner in crime, Mr. Grant Miller. Well, you've heard our declaration today. Take that to heart. But most importantly, here's my declaration to you. We are a chamber for all. We want to open our doors even wider than they've ever been open before. We're making a big move after 15 years, and we're coming back downtown. That's where our roots began. And I'm really proud of our team. I'm really proud of our board. And most importantly, I'm proud of our community for saying, you know what? Thanks for opening those doors for us. Now we're going to open our arms, and we'll see you next week at 201 Alhambra Circle, Suite 100. Doesn't that sound sweet?
Bam. We're done.